Welcome, everyone, to another fantastic episode of You Didn't Get the Memo Show. I'm your host, Gloria Bailey Ray, and I'm excited that you guys decided to join us today. As always, it's about providing the viewers with relevant, fact based, mainstream information to help you be informed and to make informed decisions. And that is strictly what we are about. And I know you're going to learn something from my guests today. And before we get started, let me again say welcome to all of you, all the viewers, wherever you are. And I don't take it lightly. I'm appreciative of you guys all being here. Our show is interactive. So if you have questions or comments for my guests, you can place them in the comment section and we'll do our very best to respond to you. Okay. Now, I want to remind you guys that You Didn't Get the Memo show is streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So be sure and click on any of those, tell a friend, because this is a show that you don't want to miss. And by the way, I wanted to share with you guys the guests that are on the show, even when they're local, the information that you will get will be pertinent to where you live at as well. So I'm just excited to have you guys be here with me today. Now, my guest is Miss Emily Bergfeld, and she is the um, director of the Alameda County Law Library. And so we're going to be talking today about access to legal resources. So I want to welcome my guest, Emily, to the show. Emily, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you, Gloria. Thank you so much for having me on your show and giving me the opportunity to talk about county law libraries.
Yeah, well, in doing my research, and as I said to you before we went live, I learned some things, but listening to you, there is so much that, just people in the community don't even know about. And it's my hope and desire that after they hear you talk, that people will reach out, not only here in Oakland, but in other places around the country, because it's we both, I asked you, I said, there's law libraries all over the country. Every city, state has one. So guys, I need you to tune in and to turn that bell tone hearing aid up, and let's get ready for Emily. And Emily, I always like to start with asking my guests, what's your backstory? Tell us a little bit about who you are. And the second part of that is, how did you get involved in the law library?
Sure. So, as with many who end up in librarianship, I was always someone who loved reading and books and research. I was a history major in college. And when I was working on my senior thesis, I had the opportunity to do some archival research at the Bancroft Library and Archives at UC Berkeley, which is where I was a student. That experience and my experiences using a variety of the libraries at UC Berkeley and getting help from the reference librarians there got me thinking about whether librarianship might be a good career path for me. So I did a little research about librarianship, and I learned that librarians work in all types of settings. So in traditional public libraries, in academic libraries at colleges and universities, and in K through 12 elementary and high school libraries. But they also work in what are called special libraries. So, for example, at medical libraries that are located inside hospitals, at law libraries and law firms, at corporate libraries and big companies, and even at libraries located within museums and government agencies that have their own internal libraries and archives. And the idea of working in a very focused, subject specific special library really appealed to me. To have the opportunity to really gain a deep knowledge of the research tools used in a particular subject area and to help professionals, like doctors, lawyers, scholars, or researchers find the information they needed to complete their work. So I started my master's degree in library and information science right after I finished undergrad. And while I was getting my library science degree, I began volunteering and interning at a local hospital library and at a few law firm libraries and a law school library in the Bay Area, which led to some part time jobs at several of those libraries. I found that I especially loved law libraries and learning more about the legal system and the tools used to perform legal research. I really enjoyed learning how to use legal databases like Westlaw and LexisNexis, which some of your viewers may be familiar with. They're the major research tools used in the legal industry. So when I graduated from library school in 2007, the legal job market was pretty tight in the Bay Area. But through a library staffing agency, I was able to get my first full-time job as a temp librarian at the Alameda County Law Library here in downtown Oakland. And I quickly discovered that I absolutely loved helping the public and attorneys find the information they needed to address their legal problems. About 6 months later, a full-time reference librarian position became available at the Alameda County Law Library, and I was hired. I worked as a public-facing reference librarian here at Alameda County Law Library for more than 10 years. And during that time, I also received my paralegal certificate. I taught advanced legal research classes and worked part-time at local community colleges teaching librarianship 101 and information literacy classes to college students. So I was busy. I,
My face, I'm thinking, man, yeah, you were very busy. And
definitely.
you know what, Emily, you talk about, in fact, talk about opening our minds up to when I think about a librarian,
Mhm.
never in my wildest dream. Now, I know that hospitals had
Mhm.
libraries, but I guess it just never dawned on me that that's really a career path.
Mhm.
And one I would say that's quite important uh,
Mhm.
career path. And so
Mhm.
hearing you talk about all of the steps that you took to get to this level,
Right.
um, wow, I'm just like, because that really and truly is a lot of information, and the fact that you found your niche.
Right, I did. It is law librarianship is definitely a niche, and for me, it's been a really wonderful and really rewarding career path. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. In fact, we had one of the viewers, you were talking, and they said, kudos to history majors.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. Great history majors.
Yeah, all right. So I want to give a shout out to San Antonio. I see you guys here, and also my friend over in Africa. Emmanuel, where are you from? I know somewhere in Africa. So, guys, thank you, Keisha. All of you guys, thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you're getting as much from Emily as I am getting. So, Emily, next question is. Let's talk about, you just slid into that a little bit,
Mhm.
what the work of a law librarian really is. So what's
Sure.
the role and the tools? Because I'm sitting here listening, like, I need to pick your brain because look, just trying to Google some stuff, it needs to be the
Mhm.
right things to be able
That's
to
right.
Google. So
That's
talk
right.
to us a little bit about that, please.
Yeah, so you can't always trust, the information that you find online. And so what law librarians do is we connect people to really authoritative, trustworthy sources of legal information. Depending on the person's information need and their familiarity with the subject that they're researching, the law librarian will recommend one or more sources for starting their legal research. We have a variety of tools that we can use to help people research the law, and knowing how to use these tools effectively to conduct legal research is our area of expertise as law librarians. So the tools that we use include specialized subscription legal research databases like LexisNexis and Westlaw, which I mentioned earlier. We also use print legal books such as legal treatises and legal encyclopedias. They're written on specific legal topics. So, for example, a treatise on contract law or on constitutional law. We use legal self-help books that are written for non-attorneys, kind of on everyday legal topics, so like tenants' rights, divorce. We also have more in-depth practice guides that are written for attorneys and litigants who are preparing for a specific type of legal action, for example, a wrongful termination lawsuit, a personal injury lawsuit. And we have legal form books, which have customizable templates for a wide variety of legal forms and legal agreements that are commonly used in litigation, forming a business, estate planning, and real estate transactions. So we have large collections of all types of legal materials at the law library. That's what we specialize in. We also use other tools to help patrons. So librarians use official government websites and court websites, which are a great source for finding court forms and accessing court records and legal self-help information. So that's really our main role, to facilitate access to legal information so people can address their legal problems, understand their legal rights, and get ready for court. And law librarians do work in a variety of settings. So they can work in law schools, helping law students and faculty with legal research and teaching law students how to do legal research. Law librarians can work in law firms, managing firm-wide subscriptions to legal publications and databases, and completing legal research projects for attorneys and paralegals. And like me, they can work in government law libraries like a county law library or a court law library, where we help the general public, attorneys, judges, and court staff access the information resources that they need to research the law, draft their legal documents, and get ready for court.
Look, you said so much, my head is spinning already, Emily.
Sorry.
I mean, I feel like I'm talking to this beyond a walking encyclopedia, Wikipedia. You are just totally, the information is vast. And that's what I want you guys that are watching the show to understand, that if you have questions as relates to filings, it sounds like, rules, you can, to get the real skinny, as they say, the real deal, you need to go to the law library and check it out. And that's something that, and I'm certain that you may later on talk about this, but the law library, is it free for people to
It
use?
is free. Yeah, we're completely free to use our collections, to use our legal databases. We do charge small fees for things like photocopying and printing, but it's absolutely free for anybody to come in. The one caveat which I have, which I definitely plan to mention a little bit later, but just that we are not attorneys, and so although some of us maybe have a background in the legal field or maybe have worked as an attorney in the past, law librarians are not attorneys in our role, and we cannot give legal advice. So we definitely, have to kind of maintain that line of providing access to legal information, but not actually telling people, what they should or should not do in their case.
Right. Okay. Well, that totally makes it makes a lot of sense. I could see how that could boomerang back, right? So, and unfortunately, we do know that sometimes people are not as scrupulous as they possibly should be and could be, and something that could be said, and next thing you know, wow, you got a ball of wax. So you guys heard that she can't give you legal advice, but
Right.
she can certainly point you in the right direction,
For
sure that
sure.
you have the tools that you need. So,
Exactly.
Emily, we're going to take a quick break.
Mhm.
I can't talk. A quick break, and when we come back, I'd like for you to really talk about what are the skills that that's needed by a law librarian, because I'm certain it's very different from some of the other disciplines that people work in, right? So, guys, you have questions. I know I see some of your comments. Please place them in the comment section. But whatever you do, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with my awesome guest, Miss Emily Bergfeld. Okay. Don't go away.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Attacks against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are on the rise.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer. In terms of the hate crimes, I think there is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
All right, if you guys are just tuning in, listen, you've already missed a really good introduction and discussion with my guest, Ms. Emily Bergfeld, who is the director of the Alameda County Law Library. Before we went to break, Emily, I posed to you the question is to talk a little bit about the skills that are needed by a law librarian.
Sure. So to work as a professional librarian in any setting usually requires a master's degree in library science. In library school, you learn a wide variety of library-related skills. So things like how to use research tools, how to conduct a reference interview to determine a patron's information need, a lot of customer service skills, very practical skills like how to catalog and organize books. You may have heard of the Dewey Decimal System or the Library of Congress classification systems that we use in libraries. We also learn how to do collection development and materials purchasing, strategic planning for libraries, and library management. So we learn all sorts of things related to libraries in library school. Law librarianship is even more specialized. So to become a law librarian, you need some subject matter expertise in legal research and the law. As I mentioned earlier, many law librarians have a law degree, so a Juris Doctorate or JD, and pursue law librarianship after working as an attorney. Some law librarians have a paralegal certificate, which is my background. And others maybe start out working in a small law library and mostly learn on the job, really immersing themselves in the workings of the legal system, legal terminology, and how to use legal research tools. So there are definitely different paths to becoming a law librarian. For all law librarians, I would say a solid understanding of the legal system, the court system, legal terminology, and basic civil procedure are really key. You also need in-depth knowledge of California legal research materials if you're working as a law librarian in California, and the California legal publications. So the practice guides that we have here, the form books, the legal self-help books across all the different legal topics. And you need kind of a nuanced understanding of the strengths and limitations of these different types of sources that we use. You also have to be comfortable using legal databases like Westlaw and LexisNexis to research the law. We use them to retrieve court documents and briefs, to find verdict and settlement information, and of course, to locate form templates. And a big part of being a law librarian is being able to teach library patrons how to use these legal databases themselves to do their own legal research. Teaching is definitely a big part of the law librarian's role. And kind of like, as I mentioned earlier, while law librarians are knowledgeable about the law, we are not attorneys. And it's really important that law librarians have a clear understanding of the difference and the line between legal reference service, which is helping someone find, legal information and use legal research tools, and actually giving legal advice, which is advising someone of their legal rights or recommending a specific course of action in their case. So we are prohibited from doing that. So law librarians must be able to work within the limits of their library's reference assistance policies. We have very clear standards of what we can and cannot do, particularly in public law libraries where most of our users are non-attorneys. And so we need to have kind of clear limits with our patrons about, what we can and cannot do for them. And as law librarians, we're really helping people to help themselves.
Right.
I would also say that all law librarians need kind of a curious mindset, and be open to learning new things. Working in a county law library, we never know what kinds of questions will walk through the door on any given day. And we help people with any and all kinds of legal issues. So things ranging from bankruptcy to criminal defense to small claims court to child custody disputes to civil rights. So we really see it all. And so you need to be interested in the law and open to helping people find information on a variety of topics.
Right.
You also, I would say, need a strong customer service mindset.
Will you say that again?
Oh, yeah, right, exactly. Customer service mindset.
Right.
is a helping profession, and when you work in a county law library in particular, you must enjoy helping and empowering all types of people from all different backgrounds, and enjoy working with the public, which can sometimes be challenging.
Yeah.
So finally, I would say that for a law librarian, especially if you're working in a county law library, you need to be sensitive to the fact that many of the people who visit the law library are going through, really tough times in their lives. Our patrons are often facing serious legal issues, or maybe in the midst of a personal crisis, for example, an eviction, a divorce, a custody dispute. They're seeking a restraining order, trying to get guardianship of a grandchild whose parent is no longer able to care for them. And at the same time, they're really struggling to understand unfamiliar legal terms, strict court procedures, and looming deadlines. So it can be really overwhelming and scary for people. And it's our job as librarians to connect them to the tools and resources that they need to navigate the legal system and to hopefully be successful. And so it's really important for us to be really patient and really kind, and to listen to our patrons. I would say listening is one of the most important things that we do.
Right. You bring up a point which caused me to have this question for you. The example, let's just say example, is a grandmother who's going through a custody battle. And the jargon a lot of times with law, it's written like, something that's out of space.
Right.
So are you able to help them to understand the word? Let's just say, for instance, this is the litigant. Know what that means. So
yeah, I mean, we can
be able to help
them,
kind of ratchet down to their level what some of these terms are.
We definitely can, and we also have a lot of kind of, I don't know if you've heard of Nolo Press, but they're a local legal self-help publisher. They were based in Berkeley for a long time, and they have a really great plain English law dictionary. And so we'll oftentimes have that. We have it at the reference desk, and we'll oftentimes bring it out if somebody, doesn't understand a term in a form or something that they're reading, and that will provide a definition in plain English that they can actually understand as someone as a person without a legal background, because the
Right.
legal jargon can just be so confusing and so obscure, and so we definitely do have a lot of materials that can kind of help break that down for people. There are a lot of really good websites now, court websites, that have legal glossaries, and a lot of great self-help information. And so we definitely know where to send people, what websites, what books can kind of make the law a little bit easier to comprehend, a little bit easier to grasp. And so, yeah, that's definitely a big part of what we do. So maybe we're not necessarily, sometimes we can provide simple definitions for things, but, a lot of what we're doing is kind of giving them a book or giving them a printout that will have, a court authorized or a published definition of something,
Okay.
so that it's, it's an authoritative source that we are citing.
Okay. Yeah, I see. Miss Keisha, I see you, and she says she loves Nolo
Oh
Press.
yeah, Nola Press is great.
And so you've got her on a roll. So
Mhm,
she wanted to acknowledge that it is a good point that
mhm,
you're not an attorney,
mhm.
but it's good to get informed before talking to
Exactly.
an attorney. And
Mhm.
that's the thing. People go, and the first thing the attorney says is, I need $7,500 up front before I
Right,
can help you,
right.
or $5,000.
Mhm,
So,
mhm,
and she also definitely appreciates, and that's why I say that again: customer service,
definitely.
helping profession,
Mhm,
respectful, kindful,
mhm,
kind. And here's the thing, and you said also, you know what? You just got to be uh, have listening, real good listening skills, because
definitely.
a lot of things are missed when someone's over talking. So just hearing you. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your comments for sure. So let me transition, Emily,
Mhm.
and ask you if you will tell the viewers about the Alameda County Library. Well, this is what we've been talking about, but why does the library exist? I mean, let's just bring it down to that level. Why does the law library exist?
Yeah, so in California, actually, under the Business and Professions Code, every county in California is required to maintain a county law library that the public can use to conduct legal research. And so, Alameda County Law Library is the free county law library that is located in downtown Oakland, and we are open to the public. So, county law libraries are funded primarily by a small portion of court filing fees that are generated when someone files a civil lawsuit in the local superior court. So that's how we get the majority of our funding, is we get a tiny little sliver of that filing fee income. And so, as I mentioned, Alameda County Law Library is open to the public, and about 3/4 of our users are non-attorneys who come to the law library to research the law and prepare for court, draft their legal forms. Our mission at the law library is to increase access to justice for everyone in the community by providing free and equal access to the tools needed to participate in the legal system. So that's kind of our driving mission. And so the tools that we provide to for free are the otherwise very expensive legal databases that we make available free of charge on our library computers. So things like Westlaw and LexisNexis that kind of average people would not have access to from home, or would have to pay thousands of dollars for a subscription. We also have large collections of legal self-help books and instruction guides on a variety of everyday law topics. So we have books on small claims court, divorce, probate, immigration, personal injury, employment law, kind of you name it, we have it. And we have the more in-depth practice guides that are written for attorneys and self-represented litigants as they prepare for court. And as I mentioned, we have a large selection of legal forms and form books. And at Alameda County Law Library, anyone can sign up for a free library card so that they can use our legal research computers. And from our computers, they can use the legal databases for free. They can also look up information about their case. They can print court forms, and they can draft legal documents. So that's all available for free. We are a great resource for people who are looking for any type of legal form. So, for example, deed forms that are used to transfer property, basic estate planning forms, power of attorney forms. We also get the form packets that are prepared by the court for things like divorce, restraining orders, child support, small claims, etc. So we're a resource for that. Most of the form packets that we have include instructions and procedures for how to complete and file the forms. So we do sell a variety of these form packets at the reference desk. We charge just a few dollars for each form packet in order to offset our printing costs. So that's an example of one of the things that, does cost a few dollars, but just coming in to use the law library is free. I would say that our most important service at the law library is the personal one-on-one help from law librarians who are trained to assist non-attorneys in particular research the law and find answers to their legal questions. Sometimes it just really helps to talk to a live person. So much of what, how we communicate with people is through a computer now. And so I think people like being able to just come into the law library, to the reference desk, talk to a librarian in person, or to call us over the phone. Some library patrons do want to speak with an attorney rather than try to do their own legal research or legal work. And, that's totally understandable and often advisable, especially for kind of more complex legal matters. And so library staff can't recommend specific attorneys to our patrons, but part of our role is to make really targeted referrals to legal assistance organizations. So, for example, if a patron is looking for pro bono, for free legal assistance in the area of family law or in the area of tenants' rights or restraining orders, our librarians will know which legal aid organization in Oakland or in Berkeley we should send them to. So whether it's Bay Area Legal Aid, East Bay Community Law Center, Centro Legal de la Raza, Legal Assistance for Seniors, we know the scope of services that each legal aid organization provides, so we can make really targeted referrals. And depending on a patron's legal issue, sometimes they might be better served by a court self-help center, by a specific legal clinic, or another government agency, or maybe even a community nonprofit. So we're always making referrals to all these types of organizations, and then they in turn make referrals to us. So we definitely all support each other. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so if we could pause for a quick break, and when we come back, let's talk about the free legal education programs that's offered by the library via Zoom and a few other things. But we just need to take a quick break. So guys, you have questions and I see your comments. Thank you so much. But please put them in the comment section. I am talking with Miss Emily Bergfeld, who is the library director for Alameda County Law Library. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up one finger if you're a man, women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
All right, I want to thank you guys so much for hanging in here. I have been talking to Miss Emily Bergfeld, and just the information. We're actually talking about access to legal resources, which is the law. And you have given us so much information. I still have to say, blowing my mind because it's great information and it's things that I've lived here, 30 plus years. And the things that when I think back to when I really needed something, you go to an attorney, that's the thing. But we're learning that there are ways before you get to that step. There are steps that you can take before you get to the attorney. So you know what you're talking about. And it may be that you may not even need an attorney, right? So those are the things. So we were just talking about why the library exists. I mean, that was, the overarching question. But then gotten down into some of the programs and things. And before we went to break, I just asked if you would pause. And when we come back to talk about the different programs that are offered by the law library.
Sure, yeah. So we're really active in the legal education space at the Alameda County Law Library. We're a continuing legal education provider that's certified by the California State Bar to host legal education programs. And in a typical month, we host 3 to 4 free legal education programs that we stream over Zoom. And our programs are viewed by attorneys and members of the public all across California and beyond. Anybody can register for them and they're free. For our programs, we partner with a variety of local legal aid organizations, legal database vendors, and government agencies to recruit attorneys to speak on timely legal topics. So we've had programs on, the eviction moratorium and tenants' rights, estate planning, restraining orders, and then things on legal research. So how to use legal databases effectively, and then things like how to obtain government benefits, Social Security, that sort of thing. And our virtual classes are very popular. Many draw upwards of 100 attendees per Zoom session, and some of our speakers even allow us to record their presentations and post them to our website, which is a really great resource for people who can't attend the live Zoom sessions. And so I would encourage anyone who wants more information about our upcoming legal education programs to go to our website, which I think Gloria has been kind of showing throughout the podcast stream, but it's https://lawlibrary.acgov.org. And from our website, anyone can sign up to receive our weekly email newsletter, which is a really great way to get notified about upcoming legal education programs you can register for, again, free of charge, as well as kind of library news and what new databases or what new resources we may have available at the law library. I also wanted to mention a few of the clinics and programs that we are offering at the law library. They're virtual right now, but they're still very valuable for people. We've partnered with the Alameda County Bar Association on the monthly CLASP clinic, which is the Community Legal Assistance Saturday program. So CLASP is the acronym. And it is a free all topics legal clinic that is held the first Saturday of each month. currently via Zoom. And it's a very popular legal clinic. And before the pandemic, we would have hundreds of community members come to the law library on the first Saturday of each month to consult with one of 15 to 20 volunteer attorneys who are experts in a wide variety of legal practice areas. So we'd have family law attorneys who could talk to people, probate attorneys, real estate attorneys, criminal defense attorneys, immigration attorneys, estate planning attorneys, etc., who are all volunteering their time. And so the clinic still exists, but when the pandemic started, the clinic shifted to a telephone consultation system. And so people can still get a free 15 to 20 minute appointment with an attorney who has expertise in a particular practice area, but it is just held over the phone now, the first Saturday of the month. And we are hoping to eventually bring that monthly clinic back into the law library when people feel more comfortable kind of congregating in larger groups. And more information about the CLASP clinic, currently virtual, can be found on our website. So if people are interested in kind of a free legal clinic, I would definitely recommend CLASP. We have also partnered with the Alameda County Bar Association, the public library system, and the local Alameda County Assessor's Office on a monthly property transfer clinic for Alameda County homeowners. And so this is another free clinic, and members of the public can ask volunteer real estate and tax attorneys questions about property taxes and real property transfers, which can be very complex issues that people face when someone in the family dies or gets a divorce, and there's an inheritance of a house or a condo or a change of property ownership or a home sale. Lots of title and tax issues can come up. And a lot of times, people accidentally trigger a tax reassessment of their property if they're kind of not careful with how they handle things. And so a lot of people will participate in the property transfer clinic so that they can kind of avoid having their property reassessed if possible, avoid having to pay more property taxes. And so the property transfer clinic is also being held via phone right now, but at some point in the future, that will return as an in-person clinic held monthly at the law library. Another thing I wanted to mention that, sometimes a patron will want to hire an attorney to actually represent them in a legal matter. And we can although we can't recommend specific attorneys to our patrons, we can and do make referrals to the Alameda County Bar Association's Lawyer Referral Service Program. And so this program will connect people with pre-screened attorneys who specialize in a variety of different practice areas. You get a free 30-minute consultation with the attorney, and then the attorney and the prospective client will both decide at that point whether or not the attorney can represent or assist the client, and we'll discuss fees. And so in Alameda County, attorney fees are typically $300 to $400 an hour, so it can be quite costly. So again, another reason to maybe do a little research in the law library before hiring an attorney to get a little bit of background information yourself. Another really great option for people who are looking to hire an attorney in Alameda County, kind of at a lower price point, is the Alameda County Bar Association's Bay Area Legal Incubator Project, which is called BALI for short. And BALI is a community of solo attorneys, and their mission is to provide affordable legal services to their clients and to promote social justice. And so BALI in turn really helps solo attorneys and recent grads to launch their careers, but they must serve low and middle income people. So BALI is a great option for people. The BALI offices are actually located just here in the law library on the second floor of our building. They rent a little bit of space from us, but they are a completely separate entity from the law library. But BALI is another good resource for people to know about. Another thing that I wanted to mention briefly, which some people may be familiar with, is the Lawyers in the Library program. And so that's a great resource for people who have a specific legal question or problem, and they want an attorney to give some input on, but they're not actually looking for that attorney to represent them in a case. So they're not looking to hire an attorney, but they just want some quick advice. And so Alameda County Bar Association, like many other bar associations, coordinates a Lawyers in the Library program in partnership with many of the public libraries in the county. And so here in Alameda County, it's the Oakland Public Library System, the Berkeley Public Library System, and the larger Alameda County Library System. So not the law library specifically, but these larger public library systems that have partnered with the Alameda County Bar Association to coordinate these Lawyers in the Library sessions. And so with Lawyers in the Library, people can get a free, usually 10 to 15 minute one-on-one appointment with a volunteer attorney who they can ask general legal questions. And like with the other legal clinics, right now it's all being held through the phone. But before COVID, and hopefully eventually once again, these Lawyers in the Library events would actually be held at rotating public libraries in person throughout the month. So, but now everything's phone-based, but you can contact any of these public library systems directly about getting an appointment with Lawyers in the Library. So that's another.
I'm sorry, that was a question I was going to ask. So now that they're doing these by phone as opposed to in person,
Right. Yes.
they have to have an appointment time
Yes.
that they're able to speak with the attorney.
That's right.
Okay.
And so they make an appointment with the public library system that is coordinating Lawyers in the Library. So they can call up Oakland Public Library or Berkeley Public Library, or there's the Alameda County Library System based in Fremont. So kind of, you don't really need to live within the city,
Okay.
In order to get an appointment. So you can kind of, if you want to, can shop around and have Lawyers in the Library appointments through different public library systems if you want, or through the law library. We have the CLASP All Topics Legal Clinic once a month as well. So lots of good options for people seeking kind of brief pro bono legal assistance.
Yeah. So you see that coming back. COVID affected so many different things, but like you said, the in-person thing, do you have a time frame of when you guys are?
Not really. With lawyers too, since they're volunteering their time to do to do Lawyers in the Library or to do clinics or programs, I think it is just very much more convenient for them to be able to be in their home or in their office and just kind of call in instead of having to, come into downtown Oakland, find a place to park, that sort of thing. And so, for clients or for, potential people who would be using these clinics and Lawyers in the Library type programs as well, it can be more convenient just to be able to, connect with the attorney via the phone at a particular time at a particular phone number, rather than having to make sure that you're at the, Eastmont branch of the Oakland Public Library on this day at this time. So, it's both ways. You do definitely lose something with it being kind of more at arm's length, being remotely, but in some ways there are conveniences to it.
Yeah, that is true. So when we talk about the law library, now I know that there are meeting rooms that are there. So can you tell our viewers a little bit about the services? Are those, because you were saying you get a library card because there's no charge for that, but are the meeting rooms free? Is there a charge for the meeting rooms? Those kind of things. And is there a library membership program?
Yeah, so those are just a few of our fee-based services. So our meeting rooms, they're low cost meeting rooms, so they're $25 an hour to rent, and we rent them for law-related activities. So a lot of times attorneys will have client meetings in our meeting rooms, or they'll hold depositions, arbitrations, mediations. We're across the street from 2 courthouses, so sometimes law firms will rent a room over the lunch hour as like a break room or a place to prepare for court. Our rental rates, like I said, are $25 an hour, so not too bad. And people can reserve our meeting rooms online through our website. 24/7, or they can call the reference desk to make a reservation. And you also mentioned, Gloria, our membership program. And so, as I said, it is free to use the library, and it's free to get a library card if you just want to use our library resources and legal databases within the library. But with a library membership, you can get more benefits for kind of a modest fee. So depending on the desired benefit level, our annual memberships can range in price from $100 to $500, and it allows people to support the library and to get some added benefits. And so the benefits that we offer through our membership program that aren't available to just standard users of the library would be the ability to renew circulating books, getting extended use of the library's research computers. So you get to use them for free, standard 2 hours per day, but if you become a member, you can use them for longer each day. You can check out overnight reference books that normally can't leave the law library. And you actually do get some free vouchers for our meeting rooms and free email document delivery. So memberships are a really good deal, especially for local legal professionals, and a great way to support the law library, because we are a 501c3 tax exempt organization. And so membership fees and any donations made to the law library are tax deductible. And we really we do, our primary income stream is from court filing fees, but court filing fees from month to month can vary pretty significantly. Since the pandemic, court filings have been down by about 25%, and so donations really do help us maintain essential collections and legal database subscriptions. They allow us to continue to offer free educational programs to our patrons and really support our mission to increase access to justice in Alameda County. And so we accept donations year round, but we do have several year-end email fundraising campaigns that we do every year. We do a Giving Tuesday campaign, which is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. And we also have a year-end holiday donation drive. And so people who are members or who are our library patrons are often, generous with supporting the library, with even small donations. Everything helps. In addition to money donations, we also gladly accept donations of used legal books that we can sell in our used book sale. So.
Yeah, and you see that I put that on there. The law library is a 501c3 organization. So you guys, here we are at the end of October. I can't believe we're almost into Thanksgiving. And so I just would like to say to all the viewers that please, let's get behind an organization like this that is doing so much to help the community. And if you aren't using it, and I can say even for myself, shame on me, there are times that I really needed legal advice, and rather than researching and really knowing enough about what the law library does, I think about the money that I shelled out that I could have saved had I had more information. So you guys, let's get behind and support. I see your comments. You think that this is great information.
Thank you.
So if that is the case, the viewers are blowing up saying great information. Then look, let's support, let's get behind. And I can just see just being armed with information before you go to that next level and talk to an attorney. You're already armed with, so when they start saying certain things, you say, no. I'm way ahead of that. I have this done. So I see this as being a really, really big help. So Emily, we have to take this one last break, but when we come back, I'd like for you to tell the viewers what it is that you'd like for them to take away from today's show. So guys, if you don't mind, just hang in here with us just a few seconds longer, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you for watching the You Didn't Get the Memo show. with your inspirational host, Gloria Bailey Ray. It's your contributions that make this happen. To become a sponsor, send an email to youdidn'tgetthememo@gmail. That's the letter U, didn't get the memo. If you're not in a space to be a sponsor, but you like what you hear, we simply ask that you support what you like by making a contribution to the show. There are 3 ways to make an online donation. Visit paypal.me/Gloria Bailey Ray or Cash App or Venmo, Gloria Bailey Ray. Give what you can. Your support is appreciated.
Okay, we're back. And guys, we have had just, an awesome education around what law librarians do, what the purpose of a law library is, how we can all benefit from it. If you're in a city, I tell you, there are law librarians and law libraries that are out there and there to help us. So let's utilize the resources that are there. Today's talk was really about access to legal resources. And my guest, Miss Emily Bergfeld, just gave you more than you could probably even fathom at this time. But to know, and I always say when you're informed, it makes a decision. It helps you to make better decisions. Before we went to break, I just asked my guest, Emily, if she would tell the viewers what it is that she wants people to take away from today's show.
Yeah, Gloria, thanks. I would say that the main takeaway is that county law libraries are really for everyone. There's a lot of misconceptions about us just being for attorneys or judges, but that's absolutely not the case. We will help anyone with a legal information need free of charge. We're a safety net institution for our communities. We really empower, regular people to learn about their legal rights, to navigate the court system, and to address their legal problems. And, again, our mission is that by providing equal access to legal information resources and the tools that are needed to research the law, we're really trying to increase access to justice in our communities and ultimately kind of help to uphold a functioning democratic society. These are difficult times in our community and in our country, and people often walk into county law libraries feeling really overwhelmed with serious legal problems. And they're dealing with unfamiliar legal terms and procedures and don't know where to start. And I would just say to these people that county law libraries are here for you, and staff are here for you and here to listen. And we can really help direct you to the best tools and resources for addressing your legal problem. I really love what I do at the county law library, and I think most librarians feel the same way. So come visit us. We hope to see you.
Absolutely. And one other thing I neglected to put up is for those people who are in other states, that you can go to this website, mylawlibrary.org, and you can find out where the closest law library is. So, guys, utilize the resources. That's what You Didn't Get the Memo show is about. Because if you aren't utilizing the information that has been shared here, then it's really you who's not getting the memo, if that makes sense. So, Emily, don't go anywhere. I am going to be right back. So, you hang tight for me. I want to say to all of our viewers, I want to thank you so much for hanging in here. Thank all of you for the comments that you love this show. And I'm certain that you got a lot from it as much as I did. I want to remind all you guys that whatever you do, to pay it forward, be kind, go out, do something nice for someone. But not only that, remember that the You Didn't Get the Memo show is on every Tuesday from 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Mark your calendars. And we stream live on Facebook, YouTube, as well as LinkedIn. I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed with the type of guests that we actually have on the show. I appreciate all of you. I want to thank you all for your support again and for tuning in. Be sure and share, follow, like me on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and also I am the Authentic Coach on Instagram. It's been a blast, and as I always say, if you guys didn't take anything away from today's show, then it's really you who didn't get the memo. Until this time next week, guys, I want you to be blessed. Have a blessed week. Go out, enjoy yourself, and whatever you do, be safe. Peace.